the worst thing that I've ever seen for no common sense in the airport, in light of our new additional security, is that while I was governor, seated governor in the state of Minnesota, I had to fly to Los Angeles. I was pulled out and totally, searched with the wand and all that. And while the young man was doing it, I asked him, I said, well, when does common sense enter into this? And he said to me, well, what do you mean, sir? I said, well, when's the last time a seated governor attempted to hijack a plane? And he had a great answer. He said, well, we can't make exceptions for anyone. And I said, that's fine. But I said, again, I ask you, when does common sense enter into this? And he said, well, what now? And I pointed because I had two bodyguards who are state troopers, Secret Service trained, and of course they go through a different thing because they're going to carry weapons. And I pointed to these two guys in suits leaning against the wall waiting for me. And I said, you see the two guys over there wearing the suits? And he goes, yes. I said, well, those are my bodyguards, and they're getting on the plane with me. They're both armed with 9mm right now. I said, when we get on this plane, I'm the boss. I simply have to demand their weapon, and they have to give it to me. So I said, again, where's common sense here? I'm boarding the plane with two armed men carrying 9mm, and I'm being searched, and I'm being wanded to see if I'm dangerous. How silly can they get?
Well, it's clear that the whole war on terror is being used to train us to be slaves, and that none of it is. I mean, if you really believe Muslim terrorists did it, then that is, quote, profiling. So what they said is, okay, we won't profile. You'll all be guilty until proven innocent, instead of using probable cause, which isn't profiling. It's something suspicious.
Yeah, and like I said, I just found it, and then ironically, I was going to California. Here's how California treated me. The plane stopped before it even got up to the thing. They took me off the plane at that point. I was loaded into a California Highway Patrol car and off to do our business.
Yeah, they're more professional.
When we got done, they didn't even take me to the airport. They drove me right out onto the tarmac to the plane I was going to, stopped right below the plane, and I boarded the plane right there before anybody even inside, and I never even went through any type of security in California because I was the governor of Minnesota, and I assumed California figured I wasn't exactly a Al-Qaeda terrorist.
What a great story.
True story, yeah, absolutely true, every word of it. That I was totally searched in Minneapolis, and I was the Minnesota governor at the time it happened.
Well, a prophet's not known in his own country, they say. Hey, Jesse, that was pretty wild today hanging out with Willie, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Willie's a very bright guy, and he knows the issues that concern him and that he pays attention to, and he's pretty well read on them.
He told me about Waylon Jennings, and he, back in like the 70s, going looking at that piece of property, and he bought it. And, it's neat how it's up on that hill, all those hills all around it.
Well, like I said to him, Willie, how do you leave? I said, and he said, it's tough, but it's his love of music. He loves to play music. He loves to do shows. Obviously, he does hundreds of them a year. And Willie don't need to. It isn't like Willie's needs the money or anything like that. And so it's his love of music that does it, because anyone else that had a beautiful place like he's got, you'd be hard-pressed to ever leave it.
No,
I would be.
He does over 200 shows a year.
I know.
Willie, when did you build this place, this whole little town?
I did a movie called Red-Headed Stranger.
Oh, yeah.
And we built the town for that movie. Come check out the video. You play all games. Chess, poker, dominoes.
Oh, there it is. Red-Headed Stranger.
Yeah. And since then, we've done quite a few movies out here.
So, Willie, what do you mainly do when you're not touring?
Nothing.
Resting.
No, I know, that sounds good.
That's what I'd be doing, kicking back and taking it easy.
I got a horse, but I try not to bother him too much. got a golf course, but you know, I go over there occasionally. But I've got a lot of options, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that I'm saying, well, when I get off, I'm going to do this.
Sure.
When I get off, I'm going to not do anything. And
This is a little piece of heaven.
it's nice. I enjoy hanging out here.
Oh, look, there's this John Wayne. They filmed that down by San Antonio, didn't they?
What's that now?
Alamo.
Oh, yeah. I saw the Alamo last time I was in San Antonio.
Yeah. That's a good tale.
In fact, I stayed right at the hotel, right across the street. They had me right across the street, so I got up in the morning, walked over there, and the only thing you got to remember to do is take your hat off when you walk in.
There's a hotel over there that's...
That's what they tell you. Just make sure to remove your hat when you walk in, because it's a sacred place. It's a sacred place now. So.
There's a hotel across the street where the Rough Riders met.
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, that's the hotel I stayed at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a nice
it's
hotel.
like the hotel you put me in this week. It's you know, the old traditional.
Yeah, he's in the dress club.
Yeah, and then he checks me in today, Willie, and tells me it's haunted. I said, that's all I need. What, they're going to keep me up all night? But couldn't be haunted that bad, because I'll tell you, I slept till 9:30
Hey, look, they just say it's haunted there. I don't know if it's true.
You know,
Well, I think LBJ walks the halls.
That's what they say, another big one.
that LBJ walks the halls.
No, I just made that up.
No, actually, they say a bunch of people.
I wish he
there were
would.
shootouts in there.
I wish he would. I'd have a few questions for him.
Yeah.
I'd like to run into him and ask him a couple of things that have been on my mind for a few years.
Speaking of JFK, I mean, the E. Howard Hunt, I got the deathbed confession video, not just the audio. Rolling Stone barbed it last year, but an upcoming film, we just released it on the web for free for everybody to see it, but upcoming film, we had more of the interview. And it's E. Howard Hunt right before he died, you know. His son, St. John Hunt, brought it to me, but, you know, he was the famous plumber, too, for Nixon. He was a CIA section chief, but, no, he admitted and named it. Of course, he got picked up as one of the tramps that day. People saw the spitting image, and he said, yeah, no, basically we killed Kennedy. And the media, other than Rolling Stone, is completely...
Yeah, didn't even touch it.
But, I mean, we've got it right there.
Because I remember I was down in Mexico when it went across the crawler that E. Howard Hunt had died at 88. I think that's how old he
Yeah.
was. And I remember I was sitting down and I got pissed. I said, that son of a bitch, he took it all to the grave.
Didn't
that
I got the
bastard.
footage.
And then I found out later that he had done a deathbed confession to his son that wrote in and so on. But when I first saw that he had died, I thought, that bastard, he took it all to the grave with him. Everything he knows, because one of the interesting story that I heard about his son was that initially Hunt, when Kennedy was killed, they asked him where he was, and Hunt had given the story that that day he and his wife had gone out and bought Chinese, and that they came home and they were cooking Chinese dinner for all the kids, right?
And his son says he was gone then.
Well, no, his son didn't even that. His son said,
Never cooked.
my father never cooked. He said, in my entire life of growing up, I don't remember my father ever coming home and making dinner with my mom. That wasn't him. He was a CIA operative. He didn't make dinner at home. And so that's when the son apparently at first thought, wait a minute, what's going on here? And the story had it that he was walking on a campus in California.
Yeah.
And he saw a photo of the three tramps
This is
that they had
dad.
at Daily Plaza, and he looked at it and said, that's my father.
His son tried to get it published, tried to give it to the media. They wouldn't take it. So he called me last year, and he said, do you want this footage? He'd already, because he'd been a listener, he'd already brought it to the media. Here's my dad. Wasn't even asking for money. Yeah. He gave it to me, and I said, well, let me pay you for this. He said, no, I don't want any money. Just get it out. And so we went ahead and put it out. But the point is, for free on the internet. But I mean, his son didn't know what to do with that. I just said, well, all you can do is put it out. And months have happened, and we released even more of it last week. Not one publication. I mean, it's his father on video admitting how they killed him, everything. I mean, this is the former CIA section chief. That's a big deal. And let me tell you, I didn't like having that tape on me until we got it on the internet. That's dangerous to have that.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah. But the point is, they broke in St. John Hunt's house, his son. They tore everything, to bits, stole papers. And then he lives in Northern California. The car came up, started trying to run him off the road. So
The kid, the son?
yeah, and that's why he figured out, well, he actually called me to come on the radio, and I said, listen, no wonder they're breaking in your house trying to kill you. I said, look, just put it on the internet. He said, well, I don't even really know how to do that. And I said, well, get it on the internet. And then he just said, well, I'll just, give you the tape. And so we put it on the web. But I mean, of course, he was in danger.
You know why they give him no credibility, don't you?
What, St. John Hunt? Oh, because he had some little drug conviction or something.
No, he was a former drug addict.
Yeah.
And so because he was that, apparently
But now he's a college graduate and takes care of handicaps.
But the point is, what should that have to do with anything?
Well, exactly. It's his father. It's a video of his father.
That's irrelevant. If the kid had a drug problem, so what? It doesn't, like I always love to use the term, how come all prostitutes have bad vision?
Oh, can't be a witness.
Because whenever, if you bring a prostitute in as a witness, you can't believe her because obviously all prostitutes can't see. I mean, what the hell's their job got to do, or what they do with what they saw? So it's always kind of a laugh to understand, yes, all prostitutes have bad vision.
Willie, tell us the name of this town.
Luck, Texas.
Luck, Texas.
You're either in luck or you're out of luck.
Out of luck, one or the other. Yeah, I first got introduced. I'm not an early Willie guy because I was a heavy rock and roller as a kid. But I'll always remember when I first got in wrestling, there's a lot of Texans in wrestling and all that you'd meet. And I'll never forget when Waylon's album, Lukenbach, Texas, came out, because we'd all ride together usually. And the guys that were the Southern wrestlers all had Lukenbach, Texas, and there was Waylon and Willie and the boys. And that was the first I ever really knew of you, because I wasn't a country guy. I was a Rolling Stone, Beatles type, that was when I grew up north. But I always remember Lukenbach, Texas with Waylon, and then I went home and told my wife, guess what? And I even met Jerry Jeff, who sings about the trains, because Jerry Jeff Walker was here last time I was here. And because of Jerry Jeff's train songs was the lyrics in there. But I always remember that song real well, because we'd all be on the road together. They'd always throw Waylon's tape in when we'd be driving down the road together.
Willie, that's an amazing painting. It's you and buildings, and looks like a fire.
That's the Hill County Courthouse in Hillsboro, Texas. It burned down, and so we did a benefit up there to build it back. And after we got it built back, we went back and did another benefit to show the people that it was back.
Willie, how long's it been since you cut your hair?
I don't remember.
Just FYI. I just can't believe your hair. You don't remember the last time?
Remember.
Really?
No.
That's hilarious. Maybe I'll catch you someday. I've been at it ever since I got out of office. They wanted me to shave my head again to do all this stuff, and I refused.
Yeah.
Well, I only did it because to shave your head, you got to be in the right frame of mind to do it.
You got to really be tired of your hair.
Well, and you got to be in the right frame of mind. Even a guy like me that's bald, I fight with people over this. Do you know who the most discriminated people in America are? Bald men who have lost their hair. And I say this because watch TV every night and see how we're insulted. Every day on television, you will watch and be told you're lesser of a human being.
Well, that's Madison Avenue.
Because you don't have hair.
Madison Avenue makes beautiful women think they're ugly, and they're not.
Yeah, but this is not Madison Avenue. This is a male thing.
But I'm saying it's the same thing with women.
In the male genre, we're made to feel if you don't have a full head of hair, you're a lesser of a man.
No, it's just bull, yeah.
And the reason I say that is also, like, I'll never forget the most offensive ad of them all. I was watching one night on TV, and a guy comes out, and he's got an arm around two blondes, and he looks at the camera and goes, "You can have fun again." In other words, insinuating that I, because I lost my hair, have no fun in life anymore.